You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. The more observant among you might have already realised that Frank's not here this morning. I'm Emily Dean and I'm sitting in Big Daddy's chair because he's, there's no easy way to say this, he's drying out. That's not true. He's having some lovely family time with baby Buzz and Kathy and we miss him madly. But the very heartening news is we've got one of our greatest hits in the studio this morning, the cockerel, haven't we? We also have the cockerel. He is one of our greatest hits. I've already alienated everyone in the room. Gareth Richards is with us.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi there. OK, that's all we've got time for. And the cockerel, as ever, will be here, making sure... There you go.
Making sure the show has a sort of a droll... really dreary-sounding voice.
I like to think you ensure that we don't get too caught up in our fancy London ways.
Yeah, well, that's fairly likely, isn't it?
OK, you can text us on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter, @FrankOnTheRadio. Or you can follow my Twitter account. It's time I got some action. By the way, it's @divine_miss. I'm doing my Twitter name. @divine_miss_m. Nice and unwieldy, that one.
And I'm @Gareth Richards.
I didn't say that you could do that.
You getting on.
It's not Mike Yarwood. You can't just suddenly say, hi, I'm Gareth Richards. Or you can email us if you're from 1998. So, we need to talk, with all that business out the way with, about our little trip up to Birmingham, don't we, Cockerel?
Well, for you it was a trip up to Birmingham, but I already live in the north, so it was a trip sideways for me, I suppose, in many regards. But you found it difficult, did you not?
What do you mean? Which aspect of it?
Well,
Well, when we first went to Birmingham as a radio show, I think you screamed all the way.
Can I just say, I love Birmingham's, and I love Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
It's my spirit city.
But I found my own way to the event in question. We should say that we went to... we saw Frank being inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame.
Big Daddy had a very big moment, didn't he, this week? The radio family all went up to Birmingham, Gareth. Not that you're not part of the family,
no.
But you're like one of those slightly mad aunts that we haven't seen for 15 years that we all say...
You flew the coop, didn't you? You flew the coop.
I'm a foster child who was sent back.
Right, yeah.
He's not one of those aunts that whenever your name is mentioned, everyone says, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's not true. We love you, like you're one of our own.
But I wasn't invited.
No, you won't.
No.
But Frank was... What was he given? What was the award?
He was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Radio Hall of Fame.
Wow.
It's quite something.
That's big news.
Well, it's such big news that I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Does it just rumble?
Why does it keep going on? No, that's my stomach. I'm in fashion.
Excellent.
So, he got inducted, didn't he, Al?
He did, and we went to watch, and I travelled alone and found my own way to the venue, which I found myself idly boasting to Charlie when we were on our way to sit at the table. And we'd been given little
Charlie
cards.
works on our show, by the way.
Charlie was there also. She's here today. And we'd been given little cards saying that we were at table 10. As soon as we walked into the room, I made a beeline for table 10.
Yes.
And I said, it's over there. And she went, oh, you saw that quick? And I said, I know this sounds like I'm boasting, but I'm very good at reading signage.
Oh.
I just scanned the room and straight away saw which was table 10.
Do you know, I love it when you use those lines on the ladies.
But you know what? I think it's from staying in hotels a lot and from driving a lot. I'm good at reading signage. I'm really good at it.
I think that is one of your skills.
And I found my way to the venue all by myself. I broke into song all by myself. And then you guys, who had the might of a television production team at your disposal.
You say I found my way to the venue. I got a very plaintive message from you saying, oh, I'm on my own. I don't know anyone here. I'm standing here. I'm very independent, so I'll be okay on my own. But if anyone is around, if you could let me know. Thank you, bye.
I'm very independent. I'm not frightened. I was a bit...
He sounded so frightened.
Here's what happened, Gareth. I thought,
don't get aggressive. Don't get aggressive on Gareth, because he's not all there.
I sent an email saying...
Hold on a minute.
I'd been sent an email saying we're all meeting at 12:15. I rock up at like 12:40, and there's nobody texting or phoning me saying, where are you? And it turned out I'd got there even before them. So I was thinking, hang on, I'm meant to be arriving late and there being a fuss. And actually, I'm arriving early and there's nobody here to say, Alan, hello, come and talk to us. So I did a plaintive phone call, you're right.
You did. And my heart goes out to you, but you know what? Move on.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, anyway, there we were in Birmingham. You were saying earlier, Cockerell, that you're very good at reading signage.
Yes, I stand by that.
Okay. Which is how you managed to find the venue.
That's how I found the Vox Centre, by following all the signs that said the Vox Centre and had little arrows.
Yes.
It's a system I've adopted years ago.
So, the Radio Hall of Fame, is it an actual hall?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
It seemed to be just a sort of an ethereal thing on the day. There wasn't a hall that
Like
they
the
went
whole
Well,
into.
would you like to know the other inductees? On the day, there was Victoria Derbyshire, who was looking very glamorous. I thought I'd be the only woman in a dress, but sadly mistaken. She looked way too hot for my liking. And there was...
Quite a thick dress she was wearing.
The wool one.
She looked very hot. She looked very hot.
and there was also... Is it Nihal, who is on
Oh, yes,
Radio
I've heard of him.
Oh!
He spoke well. He spoke well.
And there was Pete Tong, who couldn't
Tong.
make it.
Wow, legend.
Lives in
Apparently something went, I'm going to use the word awry with the arrangements.
Yeah.
His travel arrangements. If only there was a way of describing that. So he wasn't there. But you know what I had, Al?
LA. Oh,
You had
Bit of
your
gossip.
card saying table 10.
yeah.
I got a special card and it said special dietary requirements. You know, which is people that have allergies.
No food needed, was it?
Yeah. Works in
bother.
fashion.
Don't bother.
Imagine if it just said she's in fashion. No, can I tell you what it said?
No, so, yeah.
No chives.
What, it had been sent in
Wow.
advance?
Yes!
That is...
No.
you've nailed that.
Can I
That
would like
is
to
amazing.
thank Frank got to do his thanks on the evening. I would like to thank Daisy, our producer, regular producer. I'd like to thank you, Charlie. I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to that rider. Because
Brilliant.
things would have got ugly. It said no chives. And I was sitting next to Adrian Childs and I was worried it looked like no Childs. And I said, don't sit him anywhere near me. Adrian, we should say, presented the award to Frank.
did.
And he did a lovely speech, very emotional, very from the heart. But he was getting a bit stressed beforehand because he sat next to me and he said, I haven't prepared anything. All these people have got long speeches. I said, well, what did you think was going to happen? You were just going to hand it over? Like you were taking out the rubbish or something. So he got very stressed. So he started writing one at the table.
Right.
And then he was writing and he got very angry because the pen was red, which was the most brilliantly Birmingham diva moment. I mean, it's red, I can't use it. And he threw it.
Red's the perfect pen for an angry letter.
No, he can only write in blue.
Oh, is that right?
So that's a fact. I
That's
didn't
a
know.
bit childish, if you ask me.
Oh, very good. He did a pun, everyone, just in case you
Sorry.
didn't realise. So did you enjoy the day, Al?
I did enjoy the day, yeah. I felt a bit bad because I never really got to say cheerio to you all because you all sort of walked off. I think Frank was getting a car and you were getting a train back to London, but all of you. And I was getting a train back to Stockport where I had parked for £14 for 24 hours.
Can I just say,
Good fact.
Big Daddy
Good fact.
was inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame, and all you've talked about is signage and parking.
You suggesting I should invoice him? I've kept the receipt, but I was just going to put it through my own. I thought it was tax deductible because it's business. I mean, I didn't go there for fun, did I? Well, I did. I mean, I had fun, but,
I did.
I think it's still professional engagement, isn't it?
There was some good moments as well. I liked it when one of the elderly Birmingham DJs, whose name escapes me, is it Tony Butler?
Yes,
Frank will
that
kill me
sounds
if I
right.
get this wrong.
No, that
I
sounds
liked him,
right.
but I think he did say at one point, excuse my language, ladies.
He did.
Oh,
He did. Even though there were children in the room, he prioritised the ladies to worry about.
Frank swore. He did a bit of blue material.
Legends. Legend was not a word that was underused that day, let me say. If you go to the inducting of people into the Hall of Fame, the word legend is going to get thrown about.
I imagine it was used like a title for everyone on the wall. Legend.
Arguably somewhat devalued by the end of the day, I think.
I loved the entire day,
Oh.
but I've just got one gripe.
Oh, yeah.
the framing was a bit cheap.
Oh, on the thing.
Yeah, on the Frank got a little poster thing saying congratulations, you've been inducted.
Poster thing. It makes it sound like it's with blue tack on his wall. One of the ones from Bros.
It's almost as if I'm
a little poster thing. It's a flyer.
Like a
framed
really
flyer.
it did look a bit like that.
What was it?
Yeah, it was a sort of a certificate, I think.
Right.
It was a bit 50 metres.
Okay.
But you know what?
Which ironically Frank hasn't got.
Don't say this. Are you out of your mind? Are you nuts? No, it was lovely. And it was a very nice day. And the thing that I enjoyed also was when we were all asked to give a toast to radio, I think.
Oh, yeah.
To radio.
To radio. The thing I enjoyed most was eating my dinner and then Daisy's. That's a real boon. If I get 2 main courses, I'm a happy guy.
What was it?
Beef.
Beef. Huh?
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so we've all established that we ate beef. Thanks for that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I tell you what we need to talk about is Kanye.
Oh, yes. Big news this week.
Yes.
Well, we already knew that he's got a new baby.
Yes.
But the big news is that the baby is not going to have a middle name.
Yeah, they've been reporting that. Like, the baby's not going to have a middle name. Massively overlooking the fact that its first name is Saint. Saint West. Good luck.
Yeah, but they should call it Greavesy as a middle name.
Saint
Because if
Greavesy
you're going
West
to have
would be
Saint,
excellent.
have the Greavesy in
A
there.
very niche bit of comedy for Kanye to suddenly start doing Saint and Greavesy references.
Do you
Just
think
really
he was-
into them on YouTube.
Was he named after Saint and Greavesy?
I don't think so. I think Kanye might just like the word saint, but it does feel a bit like no pressure, doesn't
Yes.
it? Like,
Yeah.
Self-canonisation.
But
Totally.
I worry that he doesn't realise that Saint is a title and thinks, well, if you look at history, all the great people, their first names were all Saint.
Nominative
St.
determinism,
John.
that's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that you worry for him.
I do worry for
You
him.
worry he hasn't thought it through. He should have gone doctor, maybe.
Because I feel like people think he's a bit arrogant, and I don't think that's going to help. I don't think he helps himself sometimes.
Sometimes he's his own worst enemy.
is.
You're right. I hope he
I
listens.
think, okay, Kanye, you've got a chance here to show everyone that you're a bit more down to earth than everyone thought, and then
Saint.
And then you go and spoil it all with Saint.
Yeah.
What would you have gone for?
North. He's done that.
No, he's done that.
I know he's already done that, yeah.
He's done that
Which
already.
I think, as I said at the time, I think might have brought its own problems, because when they try and tell the child off, come here, Northwest, she's going to have to get out a compass and look and go, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's true.
Difficult.
I think, I tell you what I was most concerned about was actually not the name, but him in the delivery room, because he does like a leather shirt. And he must have been schwitzing. I mean, the hygiene would have been poor.
oh, I see, sweating.
Yeah, I was worried.
Because he did come up with the idea for leather jogging bottoms before anyone else.
He never.
Remember
That's
he
a
said
great
that? Yeah.
idea. He came up with
That
leather
is-
jogging
yeah,
bottoms.
That was one of the things on the Zane Lowe interview that he said he came up with the idea for leather
That was one of the
jogging
things on the
bottoms.
Zane Lowe interview.
Brilliant.
You're
It was.
down with the kids.
I do, I know all about that. I'm a big Kanye fan,
Are
Are
you?
you?
despite everything he says.
Literally everything.
Mostly like the music.
But
yeah.
when
No,
it's put
good.
to music,
good.
it's all alright, is it?
There's some, I do. I like the music,
Right.
and also I think if Liam Gallagher was arrogant and said lots of ridiculous things, everyone
Yes.
thought it was cool and rock and roll. But somehow Kanye West's not allowed to do it.
Oh, I like it when you
Yeah.
get
I mean, they're not
How about
really
that?
appeasing
polemic
the
under
How
your
about
belt. Yeah. He's on fire this morning.
On the other hand, he said some insane things in that. The other thing that came out this week is the Oxford speech. He did a speech at Oxford University.
Yeah, in March, yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
But has it only just come out online?
Has only
It's only just come
surfaced.
out online, and you say Adrian Charles not planning to say anything. Well, let me just say, Kanye did not have any notes.
You know the problem?
What's-
He had a red pen. He didn't have the Childs Blue, as I call it. Can I just say, anyone who's ever going to work with Adrian Childs, please make sure you have a blue pen.
Yeah.
Because trust me, things will get ugly if you have a red pen. He won't like it. Yes, it was an extraordinary speech.
Yes, freewheeling.
Wide-ranging.
By the way, we're talking about Kanye, not Adrian's speech, nor Frank's, both of which were beautiful speeches. Yes, he told everyone to be quiet.
He demanded silence because he said he can literally hear a whisper and it will throw off his stream of consciousness, and that when he's in his stream of consciousness, and this is a quote, he says, that is when I give the best Illest quotes. Illest means good.
Thanks for that translation.
Unless you're a UK doctor, of course.
Yeah,
in which case,
yes.
Illest does not mean good.
Illest.
I'm going to demand silence now because I'm about to play a song, but we will come back to this.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Kanye this morning on Absolute Radio. I should say Frank's not here, and we miss him very much. That sounds like something terrible's happened. It hasn't at all. He's
as far as we know, nothing bad's happened.
As far as we know, nothing bad has happened.
I like as far as we know.
He's spending a lovely day with his family, as all ex-EastEnders actors are fond of saying. What were you going to say, Al?
I was just perusing the transcript of Kanye's, I'm going to say, monologue to the Oxford unit. By the way, what kind of university standard is Oxford University? Because the people that speak in their student union are a real motley crew, I'm going to say. And it makes me think that there might be
Motley Crue, they've spoken.
Motley Crue, yeah, they were, I think, 5th in the lineup of speakers of
they
the
were
student
after
union.
Isaiah Berlin. Google it.
It does make me think that there might be better educations on offer elsewhere, at less banner headline universities.
Well, is it because they're saying...
I love that description. Instead of Ivy League, banner headline university. Are you one of the banner headline group?
Yeah, it's not all Oxbridge. I mean, Kanye West spoke there. I feel like perhaps I did fine by going to the Welsh College of Music and Drama.
Is that where you went?
Yes, dear.
Oh, that's lovely.
I should have said yes.
Sorry. Is it because, though, they're saying that we have such great lecturers and stuff anyway, they need other input?
Yeah, we can afford to just waste an hour of our lives listening to Kanye drivel on about whatever shirt he's got on.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of highlights.
I like that little encounter between you two. I felt like I was on Radio 4. That was our education slot this morning on Absolute Radio. Sorry, what were you going to say, Gareth?
There's a lot of highlights in the speech.
There is a lot to pick apart.
Much.
There is a lot to pick apart in here.
He talked, so he said, firstly, he demanded silence. He said literally a whisper can throw it off.
I'll be honest, I get a jealousy of anybody that asks an audience for silence successfully.
Yes.
Because...
I'm not sure it's a good idea, though, is it?
It's, in my career, thus far, asking an audience to be quiet has been like waving a red flag to a bull for inane chatter.
Yeah.
I mean, I can turn a room of 400 medium-behaved punters into a chattering swirl by saying, could you all be quiet, please, and listen to my jokes? I mean, the idea of doing that is...
I love that tour.
It
was called, Can You All Be Quiet, Please, and Listen to My Jokes?
Yeah. My next tour is going to be called, No, you'll like this one.
No, the next tour's going to be called Can You Not Be Quiet, Please, this time whilst you listen to my jokes.
I've only seen it work successfully. I did a very, very boisterous late show at the Manchester Comedy Store. This show began at midnight and people were full of drink and full of lip, I think it's fair to say. No disrespect to the Manchester community, but they were lippy. They were heckling the whole show. I was hosting it. I was not immune. And an excellent comic called Rhys Darby, who's a Kiwi guy who's in Flight of the Conchords and stuff. But he does funny voices and sound effects. It sounds rubbish, but it's brilliant. And they started shouting at him in the late show, and he went, no, you can't do that to me. What I do is more like theatre. And so, of course,
he played the theatre card.
In the dressing room, we're all turning the telly up going, oh, he's going to die terribly now. He's going to get booed off. And they bought it. They all went...
Wow.
Oh, they enjoyed it, did
and
they?
And they stopped and listened to it. And he is great, so once they started listening...
Maybe Kanye's no fool, then.
But here's the thing. I went back on as compere after Rhys Darby, and they started shouting at me again. And I went, no, I do theatre as well now. No. Thinking it'd get a big laugh.
So that's not going to work for you, I can tell you now.
Nothing.
No.
Absolute chatter.
Well, you don't do theatre. I know you went to the Welsh College.
Yeah, but I don't do it on stage.
You don't actually do theatre.
But I would say, I've never managed to successfully ask an audience to be quiet.
I've got a line about it that I try which
Yeah.
doesn't work, but I like it, which is I like people in my gigs to be quiet in the same way for the same reason they make people be quiet in libraries, because it will distract the people trying to read.
That's a good joke,
When
darling.
it's rowdy, it never really goes down that well.
I quite liked it.
I like it. I keep trying
Does
it.
everyone else like that? How do we feel? Yeah, good.
Kanye demands silence because even a whisper will throw him off.
Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome.
that's what he says.
And you might not get the Illest quotes.
No,
He's off his stream of consciousness.
and you want to get the Illest quotes, don't you?
Yeah, well, he was in the middle of doing his
I want my
life
quotes
cover.
to be nearly dead.
Oh, Kanye. What's it like to be inside the mind of Kanye?
Twisted Dark Nightmare.
Well, I've got about 4 pages worth.
I didn't see that Batman film, actually. Was it any
I think
good?
that's one of his album titles, just to just to put that into context.
Oh, yeah, he also said if he was an artist, he'd like to be like Picasso or greater. That's a bit hard on Picasso, isn't
Got to
it?
have goals.
I hate goal setters. I hate people that are like, oh, these are my goals for this year. I'm going to climb the Himalayas. I'm going to be better than Picasso.
Well, he likes goals.
Shut
That's
up.
why he named the child Saint and Greavesy. Is it Greavesy?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call the child now when I meet it. And I will meet it. You mark my words.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
You know, we were just sitting here, and sometimes we idly chat while the songs are on, and Gareth just said, I mean, who becomes a radio DJ? I mean, you're in a radio studio with people that work in the industry.
Right.
What is
You know,
extraordinary thing to say?
I'm sometimes not the best networker.
It's worked out all right today, though.
Yeah.
Look at you.
You're sort of the Donald Trump of networking, and that's a good thing.
We've had a text, Emily.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to change the subject
Okay.
too. I mean, I'll account for my sins, but the text from 671.
Yep.
With slight smugness but primarily fondness, in quotation marks, don't mean to be a pedant, just following in the footsteps of our Frank.
Yes.
Yeezy's album is not beautiful night.
This is good
whatever
radio.
whatever I said. I said it wrong, basically. The actual album is called My Beautiful Dark Twisted
In case
Fantasy.
you're not familiar with Gareth, sometimes when he reads the text, he takes the slightly more scenic route.
Right,
So they
these
are,
texts, they've got a new text programme, and it's all higgledy-piggledy.
they are garbled.
It
They
turns
are
things all
garbled.
backwards, and there's all weird things halfway through. So I'm making sense of it, and
Gareth-
it doesn't make any sense on the thing.
Gareth
I'll
has
be
a sort
honest,
of...
I
What
did
has
warn
this
you about.
place absolutely gone to the dogs?
I did warn you about reading the long ones, but I suspect
Yeah.
because it was about you couldn't help it.
Yeah.
And that's totally.
Tension.
I don't know why
Tensions?
you're turning on me at this point as well. It's like Peter Rats leaving a sinking ship it is around here. Let's distance ourselves from Gareth.
Well, why would anyone want to work in radio?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Oh, guess what? We haven't set up a text in this morning.
Luckily
Frank's
for me,
gonna
there
go-
might not be a lot of that on the horizon.
Frank's going to go absolutely mad with me
Well-
because I haven't set a text and we've got to go to... Have we got the news soon? It's all gone chaotic. What? We need to do something.
Well,
Cockerel.
Kanye was distracted
Hurry.
by people whispering. I
Hurry
think we
up.
should do noises that we hate.
Yes, I like that. That's good for me. Okay.
Don't text in Gareth.
What noises do you hate?
Emery boards. I can't bear people doing that nail thing. Are they named after Dick
yes.
Emery? Is that a
No.
link?
Oh, do you not like it? I've done that
was a
before.
form
and
Oh
you-
my god. I
Emery boarding was a form of torture.
yeah,
that he used to
it's a form
get
of
to get
torture
stuff
for
out of
me. It
people.
really is. I've moved train carriages because somebody's been doing that.
Yes.
Oh, it's awful.
Do you not like that?
Awful.
I've got a very specific one, actually, now you mention it. I had a colleague that I worked with once, and I used the past tense advisedly, because I have quite a lot of power, and she wore bangles.
Oh.
And she typed on
It
the
hasn't
keyboard.
changed you.
The power
I'm
really
talking
hasn't
about
gone
the
to my
power.
head.
Sorry,
yeah,
what-
I know. And she would bang. She would bang all the
Oh,
time. In
bangles.
fact, she bangs.
You don't
Was her
like
theme
it-
tune.
You don't like it when
Yeah.
your workers shake their shackles.
No, I really didn't like it. I recorded the noise, actually,
you?
because I thought what I could do is play it back to her as a friend. Out of concern. Anyway, please text us in on 81215 if there are any noises that annoy you, and can you please not include the sound of our voices in that?
Yeah,
that would be
great.
Slightly orcs.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Emily Dean. This is the Frank Skinner Show, and he's not here this morning. I don't know what he's doing. What do you think he's doing? Watching Cash in the Attic? I don't know if that's on Saturdays.
I don't think it is, no. I think it'd be more like Saturday cooking programmes. Anyway.
Yeah, he'd probably watch a cooking show.
Yeah, no.
Okay, thanks for that. Text the show on 81215, or you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. And we've got the Cockerel this morning, and we've got Gareth Richards in the studio as well.
Morning. We've got an impromptu text in that we began. We were talking about Kanye West, who didn't like the sound of whispering. He needs complete silence to deliver his Illest quotes.
Well, that's what I gave him just now, about 20 seconds ago.
You gave him
I hated that silence.
Do you not like
You remember how Frank hated that ballet link that he did? No, what was it, ballet?
Yeah,
he
the
says
ballet
he
link.
still goes on about it, Gareth. He did a link recently, and he immediately afterwards decided to review it and deconstruct it and say it was the worst piece of radio he'd ever done. I think it was about 3 seconds of silence after I just re-introed the top of the hour, as we call it. It's making me feel nauseous.
Well, let me,
as Woody Allen would say.
Let me.
Water under the bridge,
No, not for me.
Let me unpick that for you. We've been inundated with people telling us what sounds they don't like.
Oh, okay.
So we've created a veritable wave of them. And I mentioned that I don't like emery boards when people do their nails. And Ian Angel, who's a regular texter to the show, often with a pun, has said, "Alan, how about when Emily does her nails? Emery Dean."
That's fine work, Angle.
Love it. We've also had people who have said Ollie has said, "I can't stand the sound of open mouth chewing. That slightly tacky wet sound makes me want to throw things."
I don't like that.
And that was from Ollie, but also Ellie has said chamming, when people chew food loudly with their mouth open while breathing heavily. Hideous. I didn't know that had a name.
What's chamming? I don't like chamming.
Well, she's told us.
No, but what I mean by what's chamming is, what sort of a word is that?
Yeah, it's. I agree. I'm with you, both Ollie and Ellie. I think people chewing with their mouth open is disgusting, and I frequently have a rant about it.
We've had some tweets.
Yes, go on.
We have. Damien Hart said he doesn't like the sound of children.
He sounds nice.
That's much more our show, isn't it?
Made him a terrible teacher, but there you are.
DJ agrees. He says other people's
like
kids
him.
and occasionally my own.
Okay. Other people's kids?
Yes.
OPK, they call it.
Oh, do they? Oh, I've never heard that before.
Well, that's because I've just made it up.
Oh. I thought that was a thing, like FOMO or...
It is now, darling.
That's good.
Russ Milsom doesn't like whistling.
Okay.
Oh.
Makes me want to hurt people physically.
Yes, I don't like whistling. I tell you what I really hate is when I'm in a cab. Yeah, it happens. Licensed, can I just say? Always licensed.
Good.
When they start tapping to the tune on the steering wheel. I can't bear that. So it's like little better, little... Oh, I don't like that. They bang like that. Actually, Charlie was just... I've got to out you, Charlie. She was just singing along to Sweet Harmony earlier, and it made me feel sick. She did a slight harmony when she did the Sweet Harmony bit. Please don't do that again.
I occasionally... And I think this might make me what they call a basic bloke.
Yes.
I occasionally permit myself a wedding ring tapped on the gear stick.
You don't?
I do, yeah. Whilst driving, I'll just give it a little tap, tap, tap.
That's grotesque. Utterly grotesque. I can't bear it. I really can't bear it.
Ting 72, and this may be a way people deal with all of these things. Ting 72.
Oh, okay. I thought you were getting a lift in Dubai.
It's his Twitter handle. He says he doesn't like people tutting, especially when watching films.
Yes, I don't like that.
I agree with that. I think tutting is one of the worst things you can do to somebody.
I don't agree with that. I've got to be honest.
I think it's horrible.
Yeah.
Just tell me.
267 has texted the sound of someone dry sharpening a knife. But obviously you can't say anything because they have a knife.
It's quite specialist.
In it.
I tell you, another thing I don't like is men with clicky shoes.
Oh, yeah.
A dog on lino, no thanks.
No, they need to get trainers.
Get a rubber sole.
Yeah,
agreed.
Or a trainer.
You wouldn't like Simon Hampson. He says the clicking in his right knee while cycling. He hasn't got
I don't
clicky
like
shoes.
that.
He's got clicky limbs.
Well, I wouldn't like Simon Hampson, but that's not the real reason, as we know.
Because he's a cyclist.
No, I don't know. I was trying to imply I had some sort of sordid past with him, and clearly I don't. He's obviously a very
Seems
nice
like a
man,
nice
probably
person.
married. Yeah.
Musical person, it says in his biog.
Okay. So yeah, if you have any other...
From the Northwest.
What, sorry? He's from the Northwest? Where's that?
It's Kanye's daughter.
Kanye's cousin, yeah.
Just to return to Kanye, by
Yes.
the way, he was talking about his team, and I loved this. He said, by the way, I don't know the days of the week. I just go to exactly when my appointment is. We just look at each other and say, it's still February. I mean, that is a dude, isn't it? He is a cool guy.
It was good. When he came on, there was a big black table at the front, and he just sort of nodded at it, and this big guy in black came on and just lifted it up and took it away.
Really?
Yeah. He had people.
The Feng Shui.
I like that.
Feng Shui wasn't right for him.
I like not knowing the days of the week, though. I mean, it must be a bit confusing, though. Does he go out on a sort of Saturday night at midnight and say, well, his shop's closed?
Yeah, why can't I get breakfast?
I have to admit, I do that a little bit. I don't know the days of the week sometimes.
Brilliant.
I'm a busy woman. I forget. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll tell you when it's Saturday morning from now on.
That's absolutely disgusting. It sounded so sleazy.
Saturday morning!
Oh, God.
Absolute
Absolute
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I just say there were some moments of Kanye's speech that I've been reading the transcript of.
Oh, yes.
Like a Uber fan.
Learning a lot,
I'm learning a lot.
changing your worldview.
I
Don't
actually
ever
didn't.
say you're an Uber fan, because a lot of black cab drivers listen to this
Oh,
and they
no,
don't
I'm not,
like
I'm
it.
not an Uber fan.
Okay.
But I didn't think I had that much common ground with Kanye, but there is a moment in it where he talks about people being happy,
Yes.
and they were fighting for a level of happiness every day. And then he goes on to say that in America that people are trying to buy that happiness, they're trying to buy hope. He goes, especially in America, like in America people really do wear $3,000 shirts. For real. Here and in Stockholm, people will be like, oh dude, that's a $3,000 shirt.
Stockholm,
And then he,
He says here and in Stockholm.
fashion capital of the world.
But my favourite bit is, I mean, I've heard of humble bragging, but he seems to
Yeah.
have just dropped the humble part. He goes, I'm assuming I'm probably wearing a $2,000 shirt, but I got it for free from the designer, so...
Imagine saying that.
I mean, that is awesome, isn't it?
What sort of a monster would say that? I haven't paid for a thing I've got on today.
You say
just saying.
monster, I say legend.
I would do that. If we were wearing $2,000 shirts that we hadn't paid for, we would tell everyone, wouldn't we, Alan?
Yeah, do you think
Well,
essentially
I'd
he's just
certainly
doing...
notice, frankly, because there'd be quite a marked difference between how you look this morning, both of you.
Do you think essentially he's just doing a version of what most people do when they've got a bargain on? And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, this shirt was meant to be 90 and I got it for 40.
He's doing
He's just
what
going, it's 2,000.
he's doing what John Barrowman once did to me, which
Hold on
Clang.
a minute, let's reel it in, shall we?
From Kanye to Barrowman.
it's John Barrowman. It's going to be clean, isn't it?
I doubt that.
Well, okay, I might rethink that. Yeah, no, he pointed at every single item he was wearing.
Right.
And he said, TK Maxx, $30, TK Maxx, $40.
Love it.
It was incredible. Yeah. I mean, by the time he'd got to the crown of his head, I'd say he'd still only spent about £142.
He was
My
wearing
kind
a
of guy.
crown.
Yeah.
Where did he get the crown from?
You know what TK Maxx is like?
I love their crowns. You have to
almost-
rummage.
You see a discount, you got to have it.
It's almost like he's flamboyant or something.
Yeah. I got my
Anyway.
tiara from there. I know you were wondering.
I don't think that works on you, that tiara.
It's
Anyway,
the
yeah, he
headphones.
did say that he got free clothes from the designer,
Awesome.
which don't ever tell people about that. They will get angry. And also, Stockholm, I don't see that as the fashion capital, really. I mean, the Swedes, I love them and all that, but it's a bit noir detective, isn't it?
Maybe he was looking at the Oxford students and thinking, well, compared to you dorks, the Stockholm people are like, they're catwalk queens.
Well, I agree, but just in closing, probably on Kanye, we might bring it up again, but I think, to quote him, we have and this is one of the illest quotes I feel in this speech. We have the ability to approach our race like ants, or we have the ability to approach our race like crabs. And I think there's a lot to be learned from that. There was no explanation of what that means, but I think we all know.
What does he mean?
I've no idea going sideways. Is it crabs go sideways where ants go in single file? What is it? I don't know. But that's our choice, ants or crabs. Ants or crabs, people. Ants or crabs.
Text in. Are you ant or crab? Text us this morning on 8 12 15.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
What are we doing?
Well, we've got a bit of resolution. I know you said that you thought that
That was a sort of Alain de Botton philosophical question.
Oh, that's good.
Love
I'm a
Alain
big
de
fan
Botton.
of his work.
I am too. All good people are.
Excellent tweets. I love his tweets.
I don't
do.
see his tweets, but I really like his writing. I'm old
Me
school.
too.
I'm old school like that.
You're a botanist.
Yes. We've had a bit of resolution on the ants crabs discussion.
Oh yeah,
that,
are you team ant or team crab? That's the question this morning on Absolute Radio.
By Kanye West. 580 has texted, ants work together to resolve something. If there were a load of crabs in a bucket and one tries to get out, the others pull it back down.
Oh,
so that's good to know.
That's a thing people know about.
I think it must be. It's
Hang
the
on,
thing that
so the
Kanye knew about that we did not. Well, how does that make you feel?
sorry, the crabs pull the crabs down.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whereas the ants work together.
I think we're ants.
Yeah.
I've encountered some crabs in my time, though.
Me too, but
I don't fraternise
daytime
with them.
radio show.
Giving it all that. I did the pincer crab hands.
Gat, when you have to explain the visual
Physical
gag.
comedy on the radio.
Yeah, it didn't work so well. But if ants are so great because they work together, they're not doing that well, are they?
I love you're having a rap battle with ants. If ants are so great.
They're good on their own level, but
I
think people are winning.
Like
People
Charlie
are
Sheen.
definitely winning.
There's Charlie Sheen of the ant community. Don't call ants losers. That's the definition of a loser. Standing there in front of a load of ants calling them losers.
Although I like Deck. I think Deck's doing well as well.
Oh, I think...
We've got an email. Shall I read this email?
We can't just go straight to an email. Are you out of your mind?
Why not?
We need to do the jingle first, don't we?
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let me do it now.
Knee by gum, nail corner.
That's Alan doing the email jingle. Gareth?
Love it.
Wow.
Oh, that was like a terrible jilted X, wasn't it?
I haven't grown accustomed to that jingle yet.
Give it time.
Email number 1. Dear Team Skinner, as a long-time reader of the show podcasts, I was wondering if you could clarify a few points for me.
Yes.
1A. Alan's own website proclaims himself as a no-nonsense comedian. I have no problem with that.
Excellent news.
He also professes to have recently joined Frank Skinner's Absolute Radio show. Please discuss.
Yeah.
So I think he's saying you need to update you.
Yes,
I think that is what he's suggesting, but I was using the term recently compared to, say, my birth. So, 4 years.
In fairness, we haven't got time to update. Mine still says the 22-year-old is a big fan of Ocean Colour Scene. Deal with it.
Do you know what? I looked at Jeremy Corbyn's website recently.
Oh, yeah.
And he hasn't mentioned becoming leader of the Labour Party.
He's been busy, to be fair.
Well, if we can forgive Corbyn, we can forgive Al.
He's been putting out a lot of fires, I think.
There's like videos from 2011 saying Jeremy was on TV recently.
Is that true? That's brilliant.
So... okay, so that does need some updating, though.
Yeah,
I was going to rip it all down just through embarrassment and have no web presence whatsoever.
You don't like a web presence, do you?
I have a website, but isn't that the big thing nowadays, that people don't even look at us? Like,
do you know what? I think it shows a
anymore.
reassuring lack of narcissism on your part, and I respect you for that.
Well,
Thank you,
say
good
that.
night.
I think my bank manager and manager may say it shows a lack of care about career advancement.
Yeah, but you'll be in the better place afterwards.
We'll see.
Part 1B of this email was Alan's flyer for his recent Edinburgh show referred to him being affectionately referred to as the cockerel.
Oh.
Has this been cleared with the appropriate absolute authorities?
Has it?
Well, I didn't...
Is it the affectionate part? Or
I think it's the affectionate part that they've got a problem with. I have been called the cockerel on this show since the first week I did. When you stepped aside,
that's early
somebody texted in saying, I don't know who this cockerel fella is. but I like him. I think that was.
Oh, really? It was from a listener.
So we
was from a
decided to
reader,
make
yeah.
a virtue. We
Listeners
made
do.
a virtue out of the
And
insult.
I'm basing the affectionately, because obviously I had copy control over my own flyer, but I put, affectionately known, because the texts that I get abusing me never say, I hate you, the cockerel. They never use my nickname. Unsurprisingly, they tend to adapt my surname Cochrane in different fashions when they're sending abusive messages.
Do you think that's always the case with names? That if you're being hostile, you never use a nickname?
Yeah.
No one ever says, I hate you, Davy boy. Davy boy is.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm going to do that now. It's going to mess with their heads, and I love doing that. Yes, continue.
And section 2 of this email, 268 has got quite a lot of sections.
It smells like the Leveson inquiry. I don't think I've got time, Gar.
Emily is he turns his attention to you,
Oh, hang on.
this becomes
About me.
more
You've made
interesting
time in
to
the rest of the
Emily.
schedule.
Do you like as soon as you said
Yeah.
that, I actually physically adjusted my hair in a slight Barbara Windsor way.
Yeah. Emily is frequently referred to as the deputy editor of In Star magazine. I was just wondering, are other glossy fashion magazines also available?
Yes.
I would welcome any clarifications you can bring to these issues. With very kind regards, your obedient servant, 268.
Well, all I can say is yes, they are available, but they're infinitely inferior to my glossy style Bible.
Excellent.
But that's enough about my glossy style Bible. What do we do now? Do we have to play some music? Okay, hang on a second, please.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, Gareth, it's lovely having you in the studio this morning.
Lovely to be here.
That sounded as natural as the Alan Titchmarsh show. Tell us what you've been up to, mate.
So I hear you. Well, I saw in the paper that Prince Harry snubbed Jack Whitehall at the Royal Variety performance.
Oh, yes, I saw that as well.
And I was
I don't think he
recently-
was genuine, though, was it?
No, I think
Okay.
it was all in good fun. But I did a gig recently, which when you do a stand-up gig in somewhere which isn't a stand-up show, it's always dangerous
Why?
because people don't know the rules of it.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
I did a gig
What
for
are the rules?
I did a homeless gig for a charity, a homeless charity called Trinity.
Okay.
And it was called the Big Sleep Out, and everyone goes and sleeps in cardboard boxes
Oh, right.
and gets sponsored for homeless people. Do you know about that, Emily?
Okay, yes, I
That
think
sort of
that's...
thing that happens.
Excuse me, I think that's a very worthwhile cause.
Yes.
Not the answer you were expecting.
There was a famous person there.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that?
Hang on.
Well,
Kanye?
not Kanye.
No, who was it?
Ray Mears. It'd be too easy for
Not
him.
Ray Mears.
Nicky Clark.
Not Nicky Clark.
Jennifer Ellison.
I think you're getting colder.
Bear Grylls.
No, I know, but what about the famous person?
Bear Grylls is warmer,
I'm
only
going-
because of the grills.
I'm going for people that are
That's
capable of
because
sleeping
he had a bear
outdoors.
coat on. Go on.
Shane Ritchie was there.
Shane Ritchie was there.
Okay, but I want to carry on guessing who the famous person was.
Shane Ritchie is a national
No,
treasure.
he is. I actually like Shane Ritchie.
This is. What do you think about this? I was there was a backstage tent
Right.
where there was the.
Can I just say, Alan, I love it when Gareth has a celebrity anecdote. Because
Shane Ritchie.
it will tend to feature a Shane Ritchie, if you don't mind me saying.
I can let Emily always just say, Gareth, you're in the room with Frank Skinner. You can't tell
Not
a
today.
celebrity anecdote where the person in your anecdote isn't the most famous person in the conversation.
I know.
Anyway,
I
but
hero worship him, though.
We were backstage in the tent,
Yes.
and
Oh, I don't like the way this story's going. Shane Ritchie.
Shane Ritchie was there. He did a nice bit with all the people in the boxes, and then
there were boxes to sit in.
I-
That's good. I would have gone then.
I didn't talk to Shane Ritchie.
Why?
Not that sort of box.
Well, why didn't you talk to him?
Well, what am I going to say to Shane Ritchie? Should I have taken that opportunity to network with Shane Ritchie
Yeah,
or
yeah,
to
yeah.
bond
You should
with
have
him
said
as a
stuff like-
person?
Well, what if you were going to go up
how's
to
it
him?
going?
Let's put you in this situation.
Right.
I'm Shane Ritchie.
Hello, Shane. You're looking well.
I don't do it
There
properly.
you go. That's it.
Rehearse
That's exactly it.
You can't. If you're approaching a celebrity for the first time, you've got to think this through.
Mm.
You only get one chance to make a first impression.
One shot.
So I'm Shane Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Spartacus. I say, "All right, Gareth, mate, how are you?" Well, you now seem gormless.
Yeah, no,
You just giggle.
So don't giggle inanely.
Will he
No.
be doing a Shane Ritchie impression? I know, he will be Shane Ritchie. Okay. I think it'd be easier if you just did your voice.
Okay.
And I imagine it's Shane Ritchie.
It seemed like it's very... Okay.
Anyway, okay, so, hello. No, but he didn't talk to me. That's not what happened.
Oh, okay, so what did
you're
happen?
Shane Ritchie, you're in your own, you don't want to talk. He seemed like he didn't really want to talk to anyone.
Okay.
What should I say? What should I... Oh, hello, Shane.
No, now you sound a bit desperate.
Hi, Shane. My name's I'm Gareth. Hi, I'm on later. I'm doing some comedy on later.
Now you sound like you're chatting him up.
See, this is why I don't talk to people.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'm watching something on telly. Please, can people not put children in leather jackets? That's all. That's all I've got to say on the matter. It looks horrible. It's a child, not a T-bird. Anyway, Gareth, you were saying...
Fashion tips on Absolute Radio. Don't put a child in a leather jacket. So, I was talking about being... so, people don't know how... As a comedian, when you come off stage, you're usually used to coming off to other comedians, usually in the green room.
Discussing travel.
So discussing travel.
Yeah, not even watching your act. Like,
And-
I came on the A50 and then...
Is that what
peeled
they
off
do a lot?
Yeah, totally. That's all the chat.
I say like I've never been backstage.
It might be different when you're there.
Yeah.
But the done thing is either to say nothing, or people usually go, "Oh, well done."
Right.
Well done.
Oh,
You
do
just
they?
just say well done.
Mhm.
You don't have to sound like you mean it. You just have to say, "Oh, well done." You know, all that stuff.
So are comics ever... Are they
well
never
done, you
really
did.
effusive? Do they never say you were brilliant, you stormed it, or... Do they say that?
Sometimes,
Oh.
not often. Well, can you imagine?
Alan, you've gone a bit quiet.
I was just in a little flashback of people adoring me. It's not...
Oh, okay.
It's a
yeah.
nice place.
Maybe not for you, Gareth, but it's all rave when I come off.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Anyway, so I came off stage and no one said.
someone here.
No one said anything.
Oh.
No, and it had gone well, right? It was a gig.
When you say no
like,
one
from
said
a trailer
anything, Shane
outside.
Ritchie said nothing.
Shane Ritchie had gone by that point. He was long gone.
Okay.
He didn't hang around till then because it was quite late. And it was a tough gig because it was from an outside trailer. People were just stood there in the cold,
Right.
like just sort of huddled around a bit. So it wasn't a proper, audience thing. And I turned, like, people laughed, and by the end they clapped loudly, and it was good by the end. But I did, as knowing what that was like, and
Yeah.
I did really well.
Yeah,
Okay.
within context.
Within the context,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
probably to other people, it looked like I had a terrible time. But I know that in that under those circumstances, so I came off, and no one said anything, and then and then the guy organising the event was waiting with someone to go on stage. She was one of the sponsors from a company, who was like sponsoring the event, and he said to her, mate, like knowing that I was there, he said, "So, what did you think of the comedian?" Which is that? I mean, that is not a good thing to say.
Oh, the comedian. How insulting.
And she said, "Oh, well, I don't think I understood it all."
Oh, that's cold. Alan, you've gone very quiet.
Yeah, I think you should play something else while we discuss
I mean,
the comedian.
how would she cope with Kanye West? That's what I want to know. I want to talk about ants and crabs.
I'm going to play a song.
Self-explanatory.
In the meantime, I'd like to ask you, Alan, what did you think of the comedian?
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show, FYI. He's not here this morning. I'm here. My name's Emily Dean. I've also got Gareth Richards and I've also got Alan Cochrane.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
Oh.
I'll do that too. What's up?
Welcome to the 90s. You can text the show on 81215 or you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email us should you be that way inclined.
We were earlier on running a text in,
Yes.
which is...
What was it?
What noises can't you bear?
I worry it was a bit Route 1. Do you think
think
Frank
so?
won't like that?
I
It
don't.
wasn't a bit like wasps, I ate them. It's simply red.
I'm not going to worry about
I
what
think
Frank likes.
DJs
He's
having
not here.
self-doubt is one of those sounds that people don't like. Let's stick with it.
Well, this show's finished then.
386 Keeley in Chelmsford has texted in, "I cannot stand the noise of a spoon clanging the side of a bowl when people eat cereal. Drives
I don't
me
like
crazy."
that.
Do you know what? I've noticed an increasing irritation from me when people's teeth hit the spoon when they're eating like yogurt or cereal. Or
I don't know people that do that.
I mean, who are these people that their teeth are that big they can't get them out? I mean, it's not horses, is it? They don't.
You don't get that with veneers, and I only have that in the fashion industry. No one has real teeth.
Anyway,
I've never heard the sound of real teeth on porcelain or metal.
We were also discussing being snubbed, weren't we? And Jack Whitehall had a little bit of an incident with
what
with
happened
Prince
there
Harry.
then?
Well, here's what happened. Jack Whitehall told lots of jokes, I believe, at Harry's, in inverted commas, expense. I think, all fun ones about him burning in the sunshine and la-la-la, his hair colour.
Oh, because he got red hair?
Yeah, and his party lifestyle, I think. I didn't see any of these jokes, but apparently they went down very well.
I bet Shane Ritchie would have said hello to him, I'm just saying.
I think he might have. I read Richard from Richard and Judy in the paper this morning saying that Harry had jokingly snubbed him when he walked past him with his nose in the air. Oh, I'm not talking to you because of the jokes you made.
Yeah.
And then he put, it was the freshest, youngest feeling royal variety performance for years. Come back next year, Harry.
Oh.
But not come back next year, Jack, who hosted it, and I think would arguably be responsible for the young, exciting energy of it.
And also, was he using freshest in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air sense of the word?
No, I think he meant, it's a guy in his 20s hosted it. It's usually an ageing comic, isn't it? But isn't that a shame? Because that means that Jack Whitehall has hosted the gig, been snubbed by Prince Harry, and is now being snubbed again by Richard Madeley, who's giving Prince Harry his credit. I mean, there's a guy who doesn't need any extra credit. He's a prince.
But fortunately, it was in the Express.
Was it?
So, well, isn't that where Richard Madeley does his column?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I like Madeley.
I've read them all.
I'm just saying I'm not sure how widely read it is.
I like Madeley, but I've somewhat gone off him since Frank told that story about him telling
Was this
him
on air, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
That he always goes commando, and I can't get that out of my head now, so,
That's not good.
You know we're talking about noises we don't like? I will tell you this. A noise that I always find funny is dry retching. Fake retching makes me laugh so much. So thank you for that, Emily Dean. That's pretty much made my morning. I find it very funny.
You must like a drunk woman then.
Yeah, I like it.
You're a good snubber, Ed.
Enough about my youth.
I don't know anyone quite as good as snubbing as you.
Really?
Yeah, you're very good at it. Have you been snubbed?
That's the nicest. No, I never have. It doesn't happen to me often.
No.
I'm normally the snubby.
You're proactive in that area.
I'm the snubby. Yeah.
Snubber.
Oh, snubber. Sorry. Oh no, the snubby is the snubbed.
Yeah.
That must be awful. What actually happens when you're snubbed?
I think people just blank you. Isn't it a nose in the air, like I'm not talking to you thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Well, when I was on tour with Frank, supporting Frank on tour.
Oh yeah.
The most nerve-wracking part of the tour, more nervous than having to go on stage at any point. In Warwick, I believe, we were waiting backstage, and we knew that Roy Keane had come to the show.
Whoa.
And Frank was at university in Warwick, I believe, one of his many degrees. As Joan Bakewell said, she went, he's got more degrees than me. I said, well, he's got 2 and you've got 1. But anyway, that's his homecoming town.
Yeah, we were waiting for Roy Keane, and we were both... I mean, I'm not a huge football fan, but I know enough about Roy Keane to be on... We were both terrified.
Yeah.
And he didn't show up. He didn't come. Because we were both like, I mean, there's no way Roy Keane liked it. But we were both snubbed and hugely relieved at the same time. It was like...
Do you know what? I like that your version of Waiting for Godot is Waiting for Roy Keane.
Waiting for Roy Keane, the laddie version.
Name of my memoirs.
I'd buy it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're talking about being snubbed here on Absolute Radio this morning. You can text us on 81215. Maybe you've been snubbed. I was snubbed by a child once. I think this was a bit of a snubbing. Snubbed / insulted. Right. My very good friend Julian, his charming young son, he said to me, I was with my friend Polly and we were sitting there, and he said, you know Polly, you know Emily, and he looked a bit blank. He said, no, you remember them, you've definitely met them before, don't you remember? And he looked at me and he just said, I've never even heard of them. Which I'm going to use myself. Isn't that awful? I've never even heard of them. I mean, he's sort of implying you've never mentioned them, you have no affection for them at all, they have no presence in our house.
Brilliant.
Look, I've got my fingers on the pulse around here, what's going on in society, and I know that these women, they've never come up in conversation in preschool.
I know.
I like
And he
the
was
fact that you're going to
implying...
use it. It's good to
I will.
take ownership of it. In fact, I entitled one of my Edinburgh shows and subsequent tours Alan Cochrane brackets me neither close brackets because years ago I had read somebody slagging me off on Twitter and they put Alan Cochrane brackets me neither as if it was my fault that they hadn't heard of me. Like, you know, I can't really control what you've heard of, madam.
And everyone's heard of, you have to hear of everything for the first time.
At some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
Maybe it's your fault.
It's a good point, yeah.
Being snubbed by royalty is pretty bad. My equivalent of that is when I was snubbed by Ian Stone, who works on this radio station. In fairness, he didn't snub me.
The comedian.
Yes. I dealt with it in the only way I know, which is I discussed it here on air live. And I'd seen him at an awards ceremony.
Measured response.
I'd seen him at an awards ceremony, and I just felt, when I say snubbed, he wasn't sufficiently impressed, I felt, when he ran into me.
With your presence.
Yeah. He didn't say, I've never even heard of you, but he wasn't, there were no hugs, there was nothing
Right.
really. He didn't give me my proppers.
Yeah.
So we discussed this on air. And then I got a lovely message from him saying he hadn't snubbed me. Matt Berry?
What was his...
Yeah, sort of didn't snub Frank in the end.
Frank thought... Do you know this, Gareth?
No.
You don't know Berrygate?
It does feel like we've got a history of airing our dirty laundry in public from this.
It's almost like we're really dysfunctional. Yes, Frank thought he'd been snubbed by Matt Berry, and it turned out he wasn't.
No.
And Matt Berry sent a letter of apology.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically what he said,
He was
yeah.
chasing after children that he was left in the charge of, so he had to,
Yeah.
you know.
What about when Bobby Brown was snubbed by the Dalai Lama?
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough, isn't
He
it?
was running after him. He said, Mr. Lama, Mr. Lama. Oh. He said, I'm Bobby Brown. I think he might have even cited my prerogative at one point. He was mentioning all his hits. I don't think Dalai Lama's a big fan of 90s swing, late 80s swing.
Although it's not surprising to hear that sometimes the Dalai Lama's got the hump.
Do you know?
Having that?
That's very
Lama?
fun. I'm gonna
I don't
let
think
you
anyone's
finish.
ever done that.
No, I'm gonna let you have that.
Thanks.
Okay.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in. You know, I did my little llamas having the hump joke a minute ago.
I remember that little joke.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
What?
Turns out it was factually inaccurate. 836.
Something felt wrong about it. I didn't want to leave you hanging, but something...
Yeah. I'm fine with it. It doesn't have
Well,
to be.
hang on. You can't say after the fact.
Well, you know, it just makes sense in retrospect now.
Yeah. Well,
I love a
836 has very
Can
kindly.
someone else start a sentence? I can't even speak with the word well, because that's all we're doing now.
Well,
836 has texted, llamas don't have
yeah.
humps, you numpty.
Love numpty, you
I
muppet.
think somewhat proving my
You
point
muppet.
that I made earlier on, that he hasn't put you numpty, the cockerel. He's,
No.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
it's affectionate, isn't it, when people call me the cockerel? But you numpty, I don't think he's a big fan of
No.
of my work, and I'm sorry, but it turns out llamas don't have humps. I was trying to make a joke.
It's nice to find out now, though, because it's the sort of thing that on the way home would be really when you
Yeah.
can't deal with it. It's nice
And,
to deal with things straight away. So we apologise
You know,
to
it
all
got-
llamas listening or llama.
It got the
It's a
laugh that we
public
needed for
apology.
the end of the link.
Yeah.
I say laugh.
I don't like that Gareth knew something was up and decided to stay silent. Why?
I didn't do it on
Why?
purpose. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm just saying that I feel like subconsciously my reaction makes sense.
Can I say that I'm not too bruised by this, because
Okay.
if I may so say myself, I did an
You're
excellent festive joke this week.
I've got something in my throat. How bad
That's
would it be
good.
if I cleared it on air? Is
Go on,
that
clear it,
unacceptable?
clear it. Let's get it out
If
of
you
the way
talk
with,
between
'cause
yourselves, I'm going to go over
No,
here.
I just told you that I've got a joke that I want. All right, is this the
Carry
fast
on.
show or something?
So more sounds people hate have come in.
Is that okay? Is
So
that better?
I was in the Trafford Centre in the northwest of England. It's a major shopping centre, and I was in Marks and
Boasting.
Spencer's with my wife. We were doing a little Christmas shopping, picking up a few bits, and We're on the escalators going up.
We've got some nice Christmas bits in
Yeah,
there.
we were going up. I can't remember. I think she was looking for something for, someone.
Yeah.
And we're on the escalators
I love that detail.
going up to the menswear section. And as they do in a major shop, they sometimes have a sort of a Christmassy scene where they set up the mannequins.
Yes.
They've all got their Christmas jumpers on. In the Christmas scene,
men.
there was a guy in his menswear, but there was also not one and not 3 reindeer.
Oh.
2.
Exactly.
2 reindeer.
2 reindeer.
So as we're on the way up
Donna
the stairs,
Blitzen.
before we've even seen the full scene, I say to my wife, 2 deer in here, innit? 2 deer! Not T-O-O, T-W-O. I hadn't even seen the full depiction.
Nice.
Like on catchphrase, I'd got it with 1 block removed.
What sort of reception were you expecting from that?
She chuckled.
Oh,
I
did
then shouted it 5 times, hoping that somebody nearby would hear it.
Embarrassing.
2 deer in it, and so I had to turn to her and go, tough crowd. But that's an all right festive joke. So if anybody is visiting the
Pretty good. And
Trafford
if you see Alun hanging around the Trafford Centre, just
on the same day,
I don't like that,
Just
but then,
act
as you
like
know,
it's the
I'm
first time
not
you've
a
heard
fan
it.
of the pun.
Really?
I'll be honest. On the same day, I made a gaff. I made a gaff to my wife, Emily, and I think I need your.
Well, what did you
opinion on
do?
this. Well, we were in the shopping centre.
Oh, good. This wasn't in the bedroom.
No.
I don't deal with those kind of gaffes.
We do
Not
a
my
thing where,
bag.
when we're out and about, I like to make fun of other people's appearance. I know it's not the way that the modern world is,
No.
but like guys with Christmas jumpers on, I'll go,
Yes.
oh, look at this.
I can
wally."
relate to that.
In the
and-
privacy of your own home, you're cruel.
Yeah. And so if somebody comes past in a particularly outlandish outfit, like, somebody that looks like they were there at the Berlin Wall being ripped down, if they've got like that kind of
Yes.
garb on, I'll nudge my wife and go, oh, we need to phone the police, you've had some clothes stolen off the line, that sort of thing, yeah?
Strong work.
So I did that to a woman that was she was dressed to the nines in what I think was inappropriate garb for a day out. And so I said to my wife, we're going to have to phone the police again. And she said, it was more the woman's makeup that had caught my attention.
Oh,
this
really?
woman had a big made-up face, like a lot of
When you
makeup.
say a lot,
I mean, a lot. Blue, like reds, the
Okay.
whole lot. And I said to my wife, I prefer your underdone thing.
Right.
Which I realise now
was she
I should
caked
have
in it
said.
at the time?
No,
Did
no,
you mean the natural look?
That's exactly what she
Yeah.
said.
You don't say you're underdone the thing, make her sound like an old steak.
Yeah, I think
I
think
like
it was
how
a gaff.
you look
I
like
think it
you're
was a
not
gaff.
making an effort. That's what I like your...
You
Yeah.
say you don't need any makeup, darling.
Let's just say it's not the last time I've heard the phrase "you're underdone" thing this week, because that has been brought up several times. And I think I
that's the
should
new
have said
catchphrase.
I should have said the natural look that you go for.
You should have said the natural look.
Your natural glow, maybe? That would have been good. I like your natural
That makes
glow.
it sound sweaty. I don't like that. I'd be really
True.
upset by that.
You've met
Do you
Mrs.
know what?
Cockerell.
Recently, Emily, quite a lot of people have said to me, "You're looking well," and
You're fat.
You've told me that means fat, and that's
You're not
ruined
fat.
my life.
You're really not fat.
Thank you. That's
But
all I
Laura,
needed
your
to hear.
wife, is very slim and has a lovely figure. And as we know, that can be troublesome.
Yeah.
Because by comparison...
Contrast-wise.
Well, exactly.
I think you're looking well, Gareth.
You
Oh,
do.
thanks.
I think you're both very handsome.
You think I am just looking well, and people don't know it means
in a
fat?
purely platonic way, I find you
Yeah.
both very attractive.
If
what
I was a man, you'd find me attractive.
I was a man. Alan, can I just say, though, I think I agree with you sometimes. These people have to be called out on clothes and makeup. You know, if you don't have anything nice to say about them, though, come and talk to me.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yes? Yes? Hello? Hello?
I'm
Hello?
also-
Is anyone there?
I've also got other Cochrane news.
Oh, go on.
I'm quite belatedly getting into Christmas this year. As I say, I've been to the shops, but
Oh.
It's not too. It hasn't happened yet.
no, I know
It's not too late.
But there is a bit of a problem because on the 1st of December, I went and bought me and my wife and my children an advent calendar.
Did you?
And yeah, they were very keen, and so I got them.
You got yourself one.
I got myself
Were they
one.
keen
Can
for
I
you
just-
to have one?
They were fine with
Were
it.
they Rory? Can I give you a piece of advice? Don't
Yeah,
buy
tell me.
one for Kanye. He doesn't like to know what date or time it is.
Yeah.
What does he make of an advent calendar?
He'll be having
what
his
are all
in
these
March,
doors?
yeah.
What them numbers on them doors?
Well, I think I might be a little Kanye in this. I got home that night and my kids had a chocolate each out of the calendar. My wife had one, and I forgot. I don't have that sweet a tooth. Second day, I thought, I don't really fancy 2 chocolates. Third day, I was ill. Definitely couldn't eat 3 chocolates.
You Craig David.
Fourth day.
This is
I then
the advent calendar remix.
What's the date? It's the 12th stem. How long's this going to go on for?
Here's the cut of the...
I'm worried about Monday, because I think that's when the bad stuff happens.
Can I just tell you, we're on the 12th of December and I haven't opened my advent calendar yet. I haven't had a single one. Because now, 12
You're
chocolates...
going to be sick.
They're not nice, are they? They're not nice chocolate. It's not like good green and black's dark or anything. It's rubbish chocolate.
Chocolates your nana would send you in the post.
Exactly. And so it seems such an undertaking now to go, oh God, I've got to eat 2 weeks worth of advent calendar
Do we need a savoury
chocolates.
version of the advent calendar?
I was thinking
if it was chicken wings...
Oh my God, if it was
Gareth
chips...
Richards, you've come up with a brilliant idea.
A
Dragon's Den.
parsnip. I'd have a roasted parsnip out of there. I'd be
Sushi on the
delighted.
14th. Hello.
Yeah, maybe make sushi day 1.
Turnips on the 21st. I think so.
Beef jerky. Beef jerky would be fine in there,
On the
wouldn't it?
23rd, I'm loving you at work. Gareth, what would you like to see in this savoury advent
Well, I
calendar?
said chicken wings would be good.
Well, man's got more than one idea, hasn't he?
Perishable.
Chicken wings.
Oh,
Chicken
yeah,
wings.
okay.
Brussels
maybe,
sprout.
That would get greasy.
Brussels sprouts. You're going for
I'd
kind
love
of
a Brussels sprout in there.
Okay.
Love them.
Oh, this is making me salivate.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Here's the thing I meant to ask you about, Emily Dean. Is
Go
it
on,
true
Alan
that,
Cochrane.
I heard a snippet of a Radio 4 programme the other day about makeup advent calendars. Is that a thing?
Oh, yes. I love a makeup advent
I
calendar.
read about those in the Guardian magazine.
That's nice, isn't it? Because that sounds great, that you get a little
I love
taster.
the way you talk to Gareth. That's
taster.
nice, isn't it?
No, I was more...
Well done with your reading.
I was more saying that's nice, the concept
The
of the
idea.
makeup advent calendar. 'Cause
I continue with my savoury theme.
get a little emery
Concealer
board.
on the 12th.
Concealer,
Love it.
great. I mean, I think that should be a little later in the festive season, so that on Boxing Day you can get rid of all the the food.
Oh, what would you
badness
have?
But if you've been having my chicken wing calendar with it, you might need it by the 12th.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's
a
true.
good point.
I like the idea of a makeup advent calendar.
I like the idea of an advent calendar for me, like beef jerky, a boiled egg, a tin of tuna,
Oh, can you imagine the smell of that?
maybe a gum
Be
shield
like
for the martial arts,
Kanye in the leather shirt. Be worse than that.
beard oil.
Beard oil?
What? It's fine for women to get concealer, but I can't have beard oil. What
think
kind
it's
of
a bit
world is
strange.
this?
Like for shaving? Or
No.
for oiling your beard?
Yeah, for oiling my beard.
We've been talking about annoying sounds, and the sound of your beard squeaking is one of them. Why do you oil your beard?
Actually, someone has
Moisture.
texted in saying that their daughters don't like it when he scratches his stubble, but I would suggest to that gentleman, just go
Yes.
to full beard. It's fine. I mean, you no longer get any cuddles, but at all in your life ever again, but, the noise doesn't annoy people.
You no longer get any cuddles and you do look a bit Brian Blessed. But if you're happy with that as an aesthetic aspiration...
I'll take that, yeah.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
What are we going to talk about now? Oh, the show's nearly over, is it, Charlie? Oh,
Well, I don't know if this is a joke
that's
or
a
not.
shame.
but
I've had a lovely morning.
671 has texted, there are
Yes.
pre-orders for a beef jerky advent calendar next year. ... Do you think that's a person I know who's giving me a little teaser?
I'd
love
really
that.
like a beef jerky advent calendar.
Would you? Oh, I would have thought that would be. I'll be honest. I would have thought you'd be more the makeup calendar type person.
I'm a bit Kanye with shirts when it comes to makeup.
Oh yeah,
I don't really pay.
get it for free.
What about
Exactly.
chutneys? Different chutney every day. in an
Oh,
advent
that would be
calendar.
nice.
You'd have to sort of lick it out.
That's a nice idea. Why don't you
That
go on
is
Dragon's
a
Den,
lovely
darling?
idea.
I think this whole savoury advent calendar.
Do you-
We should go into. I think me and Alan should go into business.
Yeah, I think you two should go into business. I won't invest at this
You're not
time.
gonna-
You're out.
Thank you. Yeah,
we were
I'm out, thank
we
you.
were going to do the legwork, but we were hoping
Bit
you'd put
early.
up some.
Bit early.
I'm
now.
the Deborah Meaden
You
figure.
haven't even
Some
heard our
cash.
pitch.
Yeah, let us pitch.
Yeah.
Cockerel, can you imagine Gareth on Dragon's Den That would be worth watching.
Can I?
It'd be amazing on Dragon's Den.
Always do.
I don't think you would be.
We've got an annoying sound from
Yes.
we've been doing annoying
We've
sounds.
had 3 hours of it.
How dare you. Anyway, Victoria Healed?
Okay. Is that a command? Yeah.
D.
Right.
She says, and I think someone said eating before, but she says any noise
I'm so
associated
glad you didn't
with
say
eating.
H. Yeah.
I cannot watch MasterChef due to Greg's foul chomping.
Does he chomp?
That's never struck me before.
Can I say excellent turn of phrase, Victoria? Foul chomping.
I'm sorry, I've never really noticed he chomps. Although I have to admit, this is a bit I've never seen Star Wars, but I don't think I've ever seen MasterChef.
Oh.
What happened? It's just...
Well, at the moment, it's usually
cook meals?
it's normal
They
people who
taste
have to cook things, and then some people eat
and what
it.
do the men do? Is it 3 men?
All right, 1940s. Surely the men aren't cooking, are they? They taste it, yes?
What I mean is, to all the fellow feminists out there, so I get away with that? Sound convincing? What do the men... There are 3 men on it, aren't they?
It's a while since I've seen it, but I believe it does
No,
involve...
on MasterChef there's 2 men. There's an Australian man whose name is... And then there's Greg.
Okay.
On MasterChef, the professionals, Greg's on there.
Okay. You know I'm saying okay a lot. That means wrap up.
Okay.
Because it's the
We're
end of
done,
the show.
we're done.
It's been so lovely having
It's
my
been
boys.
wonderful.
Thank you, Gareth. Thank you,
you for
Cockerel.
having-
Thanks very
Frank
much.
will be back next week, and we're very much looking forward to it. We'll be seeing you.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.